If you've seen any of my videos recently, you might have noticed that our counters are missing the countertop part of the counters in our dream library craft room. And so that's what we're going to be working on this week. We're going to finally be building our countertops for the dream library craft room. If you're new here, we are in the process of turning my old storage loft into my dream library craft room. Over the last few months, I have been coming here to my dad's workshop and we have been building everything custom. We are building a custom craft table for the middle of the room, custom cabinets for the back wall. Y'all, this has been one of the best experiences of my life. While I am a maker, I am not a woodworker. Or I guess I should say, I wasn't a woodworker until the past few months, but my dad is a woodworker and he has been teaching me everything. It has been such an amazing experience, not only to be building my custom craft room, but to be truly learning what I'm doing each step of the way. And in this video, I'm learning something completely new, and so is my dad because he's never done this before. In this video, we are going to be making the countertops for the craft table and for on top of the cabinets. Now, the original plan for the countertops was to do what my dad has done on all of his work tables, which is basically just like a laminate. And y'all, this would have been a lot easier to just put down the adhesive on top of the wood, lay down the laminate, trim off the edges, but I decided that I wanted black sparkly countertops. I want these countertops to literally look like the night sky, sparkly, black, shimmery. My goal with this craft room is to kind of make it look like the Magical Fairy Forest if the Magical Fairy Forest was a craft room. If you're not familiar with the Magical Fairy Forest, well, for one, if you're not familiar with Magical Fairy Forest, you must be new here. Welcome, my name is Auna. Welcome to the Sunflower family. The Magical Fairy Forest is this part of my parents' property where they have made it just truly magical. They have put lights everywhere. We built a wooden archway. There's a tree house. It is just truly magical. So when I was thinking about how I wanted my craft room to look, I was thinking about the Magical Fairy Forest. I was thinking about the greens and the purples and the different color lights that they have. And I was thinking about the night sky. Whenever you're walking through the Magical Fairy Forest and you can see all of the beautiful colors and the lights and you look up and you see the stars. So that is kind of what I want our countertop to look like, the beautiful night sky. And sadly, there apparently is no laminate that is just sparkly and black. And if you guys find one, don't even tell me because I don't even want to know at this point, because by the time you see this video, we will have already made these countertops with the epoxy pour. And y'all, I am so nervous about this epoxy pour. This video is not sponsored in any way, but we are going to be using Stone Coat Countertop to be making these countertops. We are basically going to be building them out of MDF and then painting them black, and then mixing together a part A and a part B resin with a bunch of glitter. So we get to decide how much glitter is going into these countertops. And then we are going to be pouring the epoxy resin over the countertops. And y'all, we have never done anything like this before. I'm a little bit nervous. Let's see how it goes. So like I mentioned, we're gonna be making a tabletop for on top of our cabinets and for our center craft table. Originally, we were going to build these countertops at two different times. We were going to go ahead and build the countertops for on top of the cabinets. And then later, whenever we finished our center table, we were going to build the countertop for the center table. But we started thinking about mixing the AB resin up, and we're like, wait, this is so complicated. Why don't we just do our countertops at the same time? And this honestly worked out perfectly because this allowed us to go ahead and install the cabinets at my house and then make this template. We literally made this template out of hot glue originally. We literally laid out these boards and I hot glued them exactly in place to match where our countertop needs to be, since like the wall isn't exactly level on the back, the corners aren't exactly square. This tells us exactly the size that our countertop needs to be. Obviously, we weren't going to completely rely on the hot glue to hold everything together, so we did end up actually screwing all of these boards together after hot gluing them to hold them together initially. So the first thing we need to do today is to turn this template into an actual countertop. So we're going to be using MDF, which stands for medium density fiberboard, to make the countertop for the back cabinets. And the problem is the MDF is 8 feet and our countertops need to be 8 feet 11 inches. So we also have to figure out how we're going to make this long enough without looking like there's just a random big seam in the middle of the countertops. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be doing our back countertop with 2 layers of MDF, and then our center table is going to be a layer of plywood, and then on top of that a layer of MDF. Y'all, this has been like so much planning and debating and trying to figure out how we're going to do this, how we can make it sturdy, how we're going to splice it all together. But even with all that, I think what I'm most nervous about is our resin pour. Like what if we don't have a perfect measure of part A and part B? And what if the resin doesn't cure? Like, I don't know why I am so nervous about that. Or like, what if we get way too much glitter in like one spot and then there's like one big glitter dump in like one spot and then no glitter over here? I don't know why I'm so nervous about the resin, y'all. I have to just like remind myself that Stone Coat is like a huge company. People do this every day. It is supposed to be beginner friendly. But we can do this. So we're going to make our center crafting table about 3.5 feet by 5 feet. And we're going to use this template to perfectly cut out our back cabinet countertop. Let's do it. We have a countertop, or at least the bottom half of the first countertop. And we think it matches our template, and we really hope that our template is right. I don't know like what's going on with our counters, but somehow like over here is a whole 1/2 inch less wide than over there. And we built this for that reason, knowing that like once our cabinets were on the carpet and against the wall, like there were going to be these little imperfections to where we probably weren't going to be able just to measure and make it fit perfectly. That's why we built the template, because the template is supposed to be made to fit perfectly, but we didn't realize we were an entire 1/2 inch off. Now in theory it doesn't matter, as long as this fits on top of our cabinet, we're golden. But the question is, are we golden, or are we going to get this back to my house and put it on top of the cabinets and have it not really fit? But you know, we will find that out next week, and you'll find that out at the end of this video. The next thing we need to do is what we talked about earlier, where our board wasn't actually long enough to make the entire countertop from. So down here, this is our extra little piece of board. So the way we're going to connect these is actually with dowels and glue. So we're about to drill a bunch of little dowel holes in here and put a bunch of glue and pop it together literally like Legos. So let's do that.
And as Auna says,
what?
Trust the process.
Trust the process. I'm not trusting the process. Now that we officially cut out the tabletop, we have to do it again, because our tabletop is going to be two slices of MDF thick, not just one. And since we made this part over here longer on the bottom half, on the top half, we're actually going to make it longer on the other side. And the reason we're doing this is because the top layer that we're about to cut is the one that you're going to see. It's the one, obviously, you're not exactly going to see like where the cut is and stuff and where it's spliced together, but you might see it a little bit. And over on this edge of the tabletop is beside of the window, over where we have like Tilly's like window seat and her little cat cubby hole. So we think you're going to have more light shown on this side of the tabletop. And I think if there was a splice on this side, it'd be more likely to be visible. But this corner over here that's like by the closet and with the trash can cubby, it shouldn't be as visible to have a splice on this side. So I think for the top of our countertop, the splice is going to be on the far left-hand side. I think. So now we're just going to trace it out. And then we're going to cut out this board to match this board and glue them both together. I think it was a pretty successful day, but you know what the only problem is, Dad?
We don't have enough clamps.
We don't have enough clamps. Now this doesn't hold it nothing well. Today may very well be the day that we do the epoxy pour, or at the very least, the day that we paint our tabletops with our undercoat. And we were about to cut this big piece of plywood right here. This is going to be the bottom layer of my desktop. And I started thinking about the fact that I ordered this stone coat tabletop almost 2 months ago, and I've never actually opened the box to see what it came with. I'm pretty sure I ordered a kit that had like some of the tools that you need with it, but I'm not sure because it's been like a long time since I ordered it. So before we started today, I figured we could do a little unboxing of our stone coat, see what came with it, and see what we might need to grab from the store today before we actually get started doing the epoxy pour. I see our main event of our Part A and Part B epoxy resin. Okay, and talk about confusing. I was watching videos of like how to use the epoxy resin, like videos actually on stone coat. And whenever you're mixing these together, you pour in Part B, then Part A. You have to pour in Part A second because it's like thicker. They said you can pour in Part A first, but if you do that, you need to mix it for like a couple extra minutes or something. I'm like, that's confusing. Why not call Part B Part A and then Part A Part B? I just feel like people are going to like instinctively pour in Part A first if they're not watching these videos. Okay, what is this? Bonding primer and sealer. Okay, so this is what we are going to be painting. This says creates a chemical bond with the surface compatible with all top coat paints used beneath our epoxy undercoat. Okay, wait, so, okay, I'm starting to understand. We're going to paint the bonding primer and sealer on first, then do the epoxy undercoat, then do our resin pour, I think. Now we can't forget the galaxy part of the black galaxy. We have our sparkles. I'm so excited. We have silver glitter and black glitter. We are going to mix these together in with our epoxy to make it look like that shimmery night sky. Then after we do the epoxy pour, since I'm going to be filming on these surfaces, I don't want them to be like super, super, super shiny like the epoxy pour is. So we're actually going to be doing a top coat, and I just have to get the matte top coat. Now it is going to take away some of that shimmer, shimmer, shine, but that's okay because we are going to be filming on this. We don't want it to be super, super reflective. So here is our ultimate top coat. This is also a Part A and Part B, and from what I was watching with the videos, you have to like measure out exactly and add like water into it. So I'm gonna have to be doing some math later. We have to figure out exactly how big our surfaces are, how much we need to mix together, how much the top coat to mix together, how much water to mix together. We'll figure it all out. It's supposed to be really DIY and beginner friendly. Okay, and lastly, let's see what we got in here. I'm really hoping that this is like our trowel or our brush, because apparently you need a trowel and you need a brush, and I can't remember if I ordered them or not. Yes! Okay, it looks like we have for sure a trowel. So this is the thing that we actually mix it all across our countertop with. Basically on Stone Coat's YouTube, they talk about mixing your epoxy 3 times. The first time you mix it is when you put Part A and Part B together, or Part B and Part A together, I guess I should say. And you mix it together in like your big tub, and that's when you mix in the glitter or whatever color additive you're adding. And then you pour it onto your countertop, and your second mix is with your trowel, mixing it all around. But then you have to get rid of the trowel lines because it has little lines in it. That's where your brush comes in. Yes, 2 brushes, even better. I do not remember ordering these. I don't know if they came with it or if I actually just ordered these. These brushes they were talking about on their YouTube channel, they apparently are really, really good for doing the epoxy because you're gonna basically do like this over and over and over through the whole thing to like push around the epoxy, get rid of the trowel lines. And with the brushes, you have to like make sure that none of the bristles are going to come out. And the guy on Stone Coat's YouTube was talking about how whoever manufactures their brushes, they actually do like a big brush comb through them like twice before they ship them out. So allegedly, oh, a bristle. So allegedly the bristles aren't supposed to come out. I did get a bristle because we don't want any of these bristles to be ending up in our epoxy. Well, this is great. This is a lot better than I was thinking. It did not come with like a measuring bucket, but that's okay. We will figure out how to do the measuring. I might have to pick up like a measuring bucket. Okay, I'm a little bit nervous about this, but that's okay. We're gonna figure it out together. Now, if you're watching us cut the tabletop for the center desk and you're thinking, didn't we already see this a couple videos ago? Dad, what happened to our tabletop?
Well, I was looking for wood and I thought, well, here's an extra piece. I'll use it.
He calls me and he goes, I cut up your table.
Well, I used it. It's part of the saw now.
Good. We needed that. We needed the, what is it called?
Outfeed table.
Outfeed table. He built a really cool outfeed table. I will overlay a picture of it here. You know, that was well worth it. All we have to do is make 2 more cuts.
And you got a fresh piece of plywood.
Ooh, yeah, because our last piece of plywood was a little bit potato chippy. It was like weirdly layered and a little bit, what do you even call that?
Wavy.
Wavy, a little bit wavy. So I got the nice fresh piece of wood. Our joke is that Dad has tools for everything, and he has tools to help us round our edges. Not gonna lie, on our back countertop, we kind of forgot about this. We were supposed to do this before we glued our bottom and top part of our countertop together, so we weren't actually able to use these on the back countertop. We ended up using a jigsaw and a sander to make our rounded edges, but this tool makes it like perfectly rounded, right? Now we're trying to decide how much of a curved edge we want on our desks. Obviously, we don't want like sharp, pointy edges on the desk. I think we're gonna use this one right here. That's like the perfect amount of rounded. But you were saying that you don't actually have to have these tools to do this, right? How did you do it before you had these tools?
I used to use a paint can.
Paint can.
So you just put it on there and draw it out.
That's perfect.
All the line, and if that's too tight a circle, you just get a bigger paint can. And that makes a different kind of
That's
edge.
hilarious. That's perfect.
I guess you get a cork if that was too big.
That's too big. Well, cool.
But you don't have to have the tools.
Yeah. For our center work desk, we are using plywood on the bottom and then MDF on top. And the plywood is not as all smooth and shiny as our MDF. And the first thing I'm touching up is from where we glued them together, we have some glue overhanging. And then the next thing we need to do is we're actually going to be going in with some wood filler to fill in all of the little holes in our plywood. And then after we do that, we can sand it all flat. So hopefully our top coat of epoxy resin will go on real smooth. And hopefully you're not gonna know that this is 2 different types of wood glued together. Y'all might be able to see right here, that's actually like a little hole in the plywood. And if we don't fill that in whenever we paint it and then whenever we use our epoxy resin on top of it, it will in theory like sink into there and then you will still see that hole. So we're going to fill it up with some plastic wood. It is finally time for the resin. Y'all, I'm so nervous and so excited. We have watched 10 million videos about how to properly do stone coat tabletops. Are we going to correctly do stone coat tabletops? I honestly don't know yet, but we're gonna do our best. And we're gonna start by pouring in part B and then part A. That still will always drive me crazy that you don't pour in part A first. I feel like that's very confusing. Allegedly, it doesn't matter as long as you mix it for like a long enough time period, but we're gonna listen to all the instructions we can. We are going to pour in part B followed by part A and then mix them with the drill mixer, which we have ready right here, for 2 to 4 minutes. And then we're going to do the part I'm most excited about, which is mixing in our glitter additive. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm nervous. We've been mathing, doing all the mathy maths, and I think we figured out exactly how much resin we need to mix up so we don't have like a ton of waste. But I'm still nervous about it. I'm so nervous. I have done too many failed resin projects in the past. Luckily, nothing of this big of consequence. It's been like small things of like jewelry, necklaces, bracelets. But like, y'all, if you don't get the exact right mix, it just doesn't cure. It's why I actually really like UV resin for like jewelry, because all you have to do is just hit it with the UV light and then it's gonna cure no matter what. This, we have to have exactly the same amounts of part B and part A for it to cure. But I'm not gonna jinx us. We're gonna do it and we're gonna nail it and it's gonna be good. And Dad's gonna help me mix it around, right?
We're ready.
And Mom's gonna help us film?
Yes, I am.
Oh my gosh, okay. Let's do it. First, we're getting all of our PPE. We've all got masks. I'm putting on some safety glasses. And these gloves are supposed to be great. We're gonna use some gloves. Does that look exactly on 32? Oh, time to mix. There goes the glitter. Is that too much?
Are there two different colors?
Mm-hmm. This is gorgeous. 3, 2, 1. We have glitter! Oh my gosh, this is so exciting! Oh my gosh. This is actually crazy. Here's the moment. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I see sparkles. I see sparkles. Oh my gosh. We have a contamination! Contamination! What is it? What should we use to get it off? Yay! Whew.
Trust the process. We didn't disturb it.
Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. The instructions told us that we could not even come in here to check on it, to like look at it, to see how it was turning out, and that was very difficult.
There was one contamination, and it had drifted down after it dried.
Wow, because every time you open and close the door, it increases the chance of contamination because you're slowly blowing around dust, especially the fact that we are in
A dusty room.
a dusty wood shop. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, these tabletops are so gorgeous. Dad, does it break your heart a little bit at our next step?
Yes.
What's our next step?
Sanding and scratching them on purpose.
We are about to do the UTC, the ultimate top coat, and it is going to make it have a little bit more of a matte finish. It's going to make it not as reflective for whenever we're filming. It's going to make it way more durable, but first we have to sand it. We have to sand down all of this beautifulness. Oh my gosh. I'm so nervous about sanding this down. We are going to be using 220 grit and a random orbital sander. But just look how pretty it is. They're so pretty. Okay, am I doing it?
I guess.
Are we sure this is 220?
220.
Okay.
That sounds like a whoopee.
That was way harder than I thought it was going to be. Not like physically, but emotionally. And it was going to be difficult, but oh my gosh, sanding down the beautiful shiny countertops was, it's part of the process. And we're going to trust the process. And now the next part of the process, we're spraying it down with 91% isopropyl alcohol and wipe it down with paper towels. And I don't know why, but everybody online kept the paper towels on the roll like this. Is there a reason for this? And this is just basically removing all of our dust so we can do our top coat. Now apparently we're supposed to use tape to help get up more of the dust. So we're literally like lint rolling the craft table right now. Some people actually put tape on their rollers and rolled it across like it's a lint roller, but we're doing this way. Woo! Last night we did the horrifying horrifying task of scuffing up our tables. I don't even know how much you can tell in the video. Can you tell that we sandpapered these guys so much? Oh my gosh, it was horrible. But we have to trust the process. And now we are about to do the ultimate top coat. We have to mix 2 parts of part A, 1 part of part B, and then we have to paint all over these. I don't know how much of this part I'm gonna be able to film because once I mix these together, I gotta go fast. I have literally only a 15-minute work time for this. So basically I'm gonna be rolling it on with a wet roller, and Dad, what are you gonna do?
Roll the dry roller.
A dry roller. And you're gonna pick up all of the excess product. So we have all hands on deck here working with this stuff. I do have my phone set up in the corner filming a time lapse, so we're gonna do it and we're gonna see how it goes. We've talked so much about trusting the process that we never stopped to ask if the process was going to trust us. I don't know if that actually made sense. It made more sense in my head, but y'all, I don't know what to do. Something is drastically wrong with our countertops. I wish I was joking right now. I wish I was pulling your leg, but let's take a look. This is what our beautiful matte countertops are supposed to look like. They're still shiny, but you can see from earlier in the video that reflection is really cut. The light is really diffused. It's just absolutely beautiful and matte. But when we move over here, do you see that milky white look? That is what the center of both of our tables looks like. The edges have dried perfectly. Here, you can see it a lot better in the sunlight. The edges have dried perfectly. And then why is it all milky white? What is going on right there? This is crazy. It has been over 24 hours. This is all dry. It's not tacky. It's not sticky. I just got off the phone with Stone Coat. They were super nice, but also pretty concerned. He was basically saying that however this looks after 24 hours is just how it's going to look. I don't want it to look like that. Are you kidding? I want it to look like this beautiful matte look, but it's still like clear. What is this cloudiness? Why is this happening? And it's the same exact way on our center craft table over here. On the edges, beautiful, perfect, no notes. And then you get to the middle and it just looks like it's not cured. It still has that white milky look as if it's still drying, but allegedly it's dried. I really don't know what to think. On Reddit, someone said they hit it with a hairdryer. I tried that. I didn't see any difference at all. Somebody else on Reddit said that theirs literally took like 7 days to like clear up and was still kind of cloudy. I don't know what to do. The person at Stone Coat pretty clearly was like, no, however it looks after a day is how it's gonna look. But he did say, you know, stranger things have happened and that maybe you should just let it go another day. So I think all we can do right now is sit on this for another 24 hours. It doesn't look bad from this angle right now, but you can still see that white cloudiness right there compared to how clear that part is. So our next step is, I guess, just to wait another day, see if it keeps curing, see if it starts to clear up. And if it doesn't, the guy at Stone Coat said the only way to fix this is going to be to sand it down and to redo the top coat. But even then, we just have to like hope it doesn't do this again. Like, we triple checked every single thing. Did we follow every single part of the instructions? And we literally did. We literally did. We shook part A before mixing part A and part B together. We did 2 parts part A with 1 part part B. We put in the right measurement of water. We rolled it on. We used a dry roller to roll it back off. Like, we don't know what else we could have done. So yes, this technically could still be human error. There is maybe something that we didn't think of, but we have triple checked. We have triple gone over all the instructions. We've looked at video tutorials. We looked at every single thing. We've followed all the instructions. I really don't know why this didn't work, y'all. And I really don't know what to do from here. I guess what we're gonna do is just keep working on our oopsie cabinets and our center craft table, try to get those built the best we can, and just keep checking on our countertops to see if they keep curing. Even though this has kind of been possibly a fail, or at least a fail for now, last night I did try something new in woodworking that is about the coolest thing I've ever done in my entire life. So I'm going to cut to a montage and show you what I decided to do with the oopsie cabinets. Well, it's officially been 48 hours. Our oopsie cabinets are looking beautiful. We've been working a lot on our center crafting desk, but sadly, our resin tabletops still look exactly the same. They still look so cloudy. I don't know how much you can tell it on camera, but I can like really see it in real life. It's just like that top part didn't cure, and y'all, I think I know exactly what happened. Let me break it down so if you're using UTC, you'll know not to make my mistake. So the thing about the epoxy coat that we did, the first big thing that we poured on, the first one had the glitter, the second one was clear. The crazy thing about the epoxy coat is that it takes 30 days to fully cure. Now, it's like hard to the touch after 24 hours, but like if you really push down in it or run your fingernail across it or drop something on it, you can still affect it. You can still make marks on it. It is not fully cured and fully hard for 30 days. And this product is called self-leveling. So it's continuously trying to level itself out. And so last night when I was trying to figure out what the heck we did wrong, I was looking more into the epoxy resin and I was reading about how it cures from the outside in. It starts usually on the outside of your tabletops, on the outside of your surfaces, and slowly cures working towards the middle. And I started thinking about the fact that this is self-leveling, kind of self-correcting. So where our fatal mistake seems to have been was in the wait time that we waited between sanding and adding the top coat. Hey baby, you can't be up here. Everybody say hi to the farm cat. This little guy showed up at my parents' house this week, and we have been getting him some good treatment, getting him all cleaned up, and looking for him a good home. And you're just a sweetie pie, aren't you? You're just a sweetie pie, and we're gonna find you a good home. I think my grandpa's gonna take him, and we're very, very excited for my grandpa to have a cat. But we've been feeding him and taking care of him this week and getting him all cleaned up. We're gonna get you into the vet. We're gonna get you all taken care of. What a sweetie. What a sweetie pie. So anyways, where we seem to have really, really messed up with this is how long we waited between sanding and putting on the top coat. We were trying to just like prep our entire area the evening before actually doing the top coat. We had moved the tabletops over to this part of the garage so we could have my dad's workshop area be all like cleaned out and ready to use. We went ahead and sanded our tabletops to get them ready for the top coat, but we still had a few things we needed to pick up at the store before we could actually apply our top coat. So it was about probably 15 hours between doing our sanding and then putting on the top coat. And I think that is exactly what went wrong. So since the epoxy layer is not technically fully cured for 30 days, we are pretty sure that once we sanded the epoxy layer, put all those little micro scratches on it, and then we waited that like 12 to 15 hours before putting the top coat on it, it seems like the epoxy literally started to level out itself and literally basically removed our sanding. Our sanding literally was self-leveled out of the epoxy. And this makes so much sense since, like I talked about earlier, epoxy is supposed to kind of harden from the edges of your countertop inward. So that means on the edges of all of our countertops where it is beautiful, where the top coat stuck perfectly, that's where our sanding still existed. I hope I'm explaining this right. This is like so complex, but I'm like 95% sure that this is where we went wrong. This ultimate top coat, it's not like a chemical bond. You can't just like put it directly on top of the epoxy and have it work. You have to sand it down. You have to sand it. It has to have those like micro scratches for the solution to be able to like stick to it. So it really seems like everywhere in the center of our countertops where maybe the epoxy hadn't fully cured and it kept self-leveling out over that like 15-ish hours after we sanded, it seems like it literally leveled out our sanding marks and just prevented that top coat from actually being able to stick to our countertops. Now, I am the furthest thing from a professional. This is the first time I've ever done this. This is truly just speculation. But even if it is speculation, I can tell you for a fact that this did not work. This did not work. It did not work. And I'm pretty sure it's because we had a long wait period between when we sanded and when we put on the top coat. So what we're about to find out right now is if that's true. We're about to re-sand these down, re-put on the top coat right after we sand and clean them off. And then we'll be able to let you guys know if that's actually what went wrong. Because rather than that, if it ends up cloudy again, I don't know what to tell you. If it ends up cloudy again, I genuinely don't know what we did wrong. But I'm pretty sure literally the epoxy has just been self-leveling out, and it basically leveled out our scratch marks. I think that's the only thing that went wrong here, but we're gonna find out in this video. Oh, but before we get to sanding, one last thing to learn from us in this video. Whenever you do the epoxy layer, the epoxy drips off the table and you have like little drips on the side, and you're supposed to remove these with either a sander or a grinder, and we did this, but we did it after we had done the top coat, and because of that, it actually like peeled off parts of the front. Now we're gonna have to go in and touch this up with some paint before we do the top coat the second time. Learn from our mistakes. Definitely grind off all of the little bumps at the bottom before you do the top coat, because it was not happy, and in a few places it peeled up just like that. Sanded it down a few times. Let's take a look at it after wiping it off with alcohol. The good thing is, it really looks like it still has its shine. Really looks like we're gonna be able to save this, I hope. Now the alcohol just gets off all the dust and kind of helps prepare the surface before we go back over it with the top coat. Gosh, that's beautiful. Okay, I'm like trying not to get my hopes up too high. So I wanted to show this contrast because I think like maybe when you're seeing this right now, you might think, oh my gosh, the sanding fixed it. So this is just what it looks like whenever the alcohol is on it, which in theory means that it should be shiny when we put the new top coat on it. But I wanted to show you that like once the alcohol dries, it does still look cloudy. You can still see the parts that are cloudy, not nearly as bad. I could hit it a few more times with the sander. I might hit it one more time. Maybe one more time. I have no way of knowing if this is the right thing to do or not, but right here where we messed up that edge, I'm going in a little bit with that undercoat, trying to just fill in where we knocked off the original resin and undercoat. We'll let that dry for about an hour before we do the top coat on top of it.
We just finished the second layer. Let's see how it dries.
What you doing there?
Just in case. Number one, we'll remember, but number two, it'll keep dust from in here where we're sawing.
Oh, that makes sense. The dust and sawing. At first I thought you were doing this for bugs. I was like, this isn't a garage that has like a hole like 6 inches under the other door. But we'll do everything we can, right?
Whatever we can do, we're going to do after that. 8 coats of stuff.
Oh, do you think it's going to work this time?
Yes.
Yes, it's going to work.
It feels different this time.
It does feel different.
And we're using the same stuff in the same mixture.
Yep, same exact mixture, but it went on like less milky. You said humidity maybe? Yeah, it really could be humidity. It's a lot less humid today. Not that you can tell by all the sweat on my face, but anyways, I guess we can get back to making our cat box footrest. I was just showing you guys this on shorts and getting y'all's opinion. And so you may have already seen this on shorts, but I told Dad I wanted to have something that I could like prop my legs up on underneath of the desk. And he was like, what if it's also a bed for Tilly? Because everything is a bed for Tilly, right? And so basically, okay, where these lines are, there and over there, we're gonna have like 2 like boxes on either side that I can use for storage, and then this hole will be for Tilly, and the whole thing is hopefully gonna be covered in like a green shaggy carpet. So I'll have 2 different footrests, so I can put my feet up, 1 on each one, or 2 across there, 2 across there, and Tilly can be right there in the middle. Oh, let's see if this worked. I'm so nervous. It hasn't really been like a super long time yet, but oh my god. Wait, is this gonna work?
Beautiful.
Oh my god. Oh my god, wait, I think it worked. It's been like an hour and a half. Oh my god. And they keep like getting clearer. They said for the first 8-ish hours to 10.
I'll see one more spot out of here, but I think it's perfect.
Oh my gosh. Even if they were just like this, I'm so insanely happy. Oh my god. It worked! It worked! Oh my gosh, the relief that I feel that the countertops are most likely not ruined. Dad, how are you feeling?
Awesome.
Oh, it was nerve-wracking, right?
It was.
Oh my gosh.
8 coats.
8 coats. Absolutely crazy. But I can say that honestly, using Stone Coat wasn't bad. It wasn't hard. Just don't spread out your sanding from your top coat. We thought, oh, we're gonna like be prepared and have it all ready. And I was actually talking to my aunt about it because she had reached out. Tracy said she would have done the same thing. She's like, I would have done the same exact thing. She's like, I would have prepped everything, had it all ready to go, and then done the top coat the next day. So don't do that. They need to have that in the instructions. Learn from our mistakes. And hopefully it's all going to turn out okay. As y'all just saw, they're clear and they look good. And I'm very, very excited. They should, in theory, keep clearing up for the next 8 to 10 hours. Even if they stop where they're at now. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. And now we can get back to working on Tilly's box underneath of my desk. We just got it all like bolted together. So this thing, it's not just functional for my feet and for Tilly and for storage, but also it is actually, what's the term in a house? Structure bearing or no, load bearing?
Structural component.
Structural component. There you go. It's a structural component. This is not just for decoration. Basically, this desk is going to weigh, how many pounds do you think this is going to weigh?
I guess 400 or 500 pounds.
And it's going to be on wheels and on carpet. So not the
smartest thing.
not the smartest thing to do. So we were worried about it like kind of toppling over. Like in theory, it could just go whoosh or whoosh the other way if there was just the tabletop on top. So this guy down here, our box in the middle, is going to make it insanely sturdy. You're not worried about it falling over now, right?
Not now.
Not now.
Not ever.
Not now, not ever. So when we take this to my house, we're actually going to be taking it in 4 different parts. Both of these sides of the desk, our little cubby bookshelves, will be separate. So 1, 2, our Tilly box in the middle, 3, and then our countertop, 4. Up next, we've been just trying to figure out how to finish off this little box. We decided to go with having this part and this part covered. They'll have storage, it'll be a little footrest on either side, and then the middle will be an open box for Tilly. And I think we're basically going to drill peg holes here and here, and the lid will like come on and off with pegs. Dad, you have something you built over here that I can kind of show them, right? Can you show us how the box is gonna work? Because we were talking about how if I was just propping my feet up there, it might knock it off.
It's really strong on there.
But
Can't move it.
if it has these pegs, look at that! Instead of having hinges or instead of it just sitting there, this will let the lid just go back into the little peg holes. Perfect. It is so crazy how serendipitous things can be. Because if we hadn't messed up on this table, if you weren't here for that episode, basically when we were building our desk, we were building these 2 different sides of our desk. We had cut the pieces of wood, and this top board is a little over 12 inches, and then the board for the shelf is a little over 11 inches. Well, when we were building these 2 sides of our desk, we built the first one perfectly, and then whenever we built the second one, we were so tired. We'd been woodworking for like 12 hours. We just didn't double check the boards when we grabbed them, and we had accidentally used the boards that we cut for our shelf for the top and bottom. So all of a sudden, we had one half of our desk that was 1.5 inches more narrow than the other half of the desk. And we were like, what do? Do I just have like a half of a desk that's, 1.5 inches more narrow than the other side? Or do we cut it up and make it into what you guys have dubbed oopsie cabinets? So if we had not messed up and used the wrong board on our desk, we would not have these oopsie cabinets. And not only do I have 2 oopsie cabinets that are going to be on either side of the yarn wall, but back there, my dad also has an oopsie cabinet. So we were literally able to take the part that we messed up, this third over here, and this third over here, that's what I used for my 2 oopsie cabinets. And then this entire centerpiece is what Dad used for his oopsie cabinet back there. So a fun little reminder for us to always measure and make sure we are grabbing the correct boards before, doing 6 hours of work. But honestly, it turned out perfect because I would never have learned to do this type of woodworking, or at least I shouldn't say never, but I would not have yet learned to do this type of woodworking. I used a jigsaw and a router and a different like sanding tool I'd never used before to actually make these little curvy pieces at the top. And the idea is that they're going to actually have stained glass in them. And then we're gonna have lights inside of here. That way the stained glass will show through. So if we hadn't messed up on our desk, we would not have our oopsie cabinets. And speaking of the desk, this is kind of crazy. Basically, the last thing we have to do is to paint our desk. I think I really want our desk to mainly be green. I think I'm going to use the medium green and the light green, kind of the same way I did with our oopsie cabinets. So if I don't know how much you can see on film that these two are different colors, but we have the medium green around the face frame, and then we have the light green on the side. I'm thinking for our desk, we're going to do all of the face framing in that medium green and then have these big spots be the light green. The main reason I want to use the light green is because eventually when I get better at painting, because I am going to learn how to draw and paint this next year. It's one of my goals. Drawing, painting, sewing. I have so many new things that I really want to get into. I want to like paint a little picture inside each of these big empty areas. Even if I just use a stencil, do like a big flower stencil or mushrooms or star and moon. I don't know what I want to do yet, but I think that light green is going to give us a really, really good canvas to work with. So like I said, I know I want to do the medium green for the face frames and the light green for these big panels. I don't know what color I want to do inside here, inside the bookshelf, or inside here in the cubbies. If you can see in here where we have it taped off, we're actually not going to be painting the bottom, the back, or the top. That part is that UV treated plywood that we use on all of our drawers, but this side here, that is MDF and that does have to be painted. So I'm thinking about something that maybe gives it a depth in here. So picture like the medium green face frame and then maybe the dark purple in here. I feel like that would give it some like depth, create some shadow. And I'm honestly thinking maybe the same thing for these bookshelves. I mean, you're not really going to see into these, right? You're not really going to see past all the stuff I'm going to have in them. But maybe I do the dark purple. I also haven't used very much of the dark purple, so it's a color I have a lot of, so it'd be easy to do. Speaking of a color I have a lot of, or I guess a place that I'm going to need a lot of color for, is the inside of the desk where my legs go. Here and here, I have not decided what color I'm going to paint those either. I might paint them the dark green that matches the base of our cabinets. I could paint them the dark purple. I really wanted to paint more things that light purple that I have inside of the oopsie cabinet. I love, love, love that light purple, but I'm like almost out. I have like this much paint left of that light purple. I actually don't really know what color I'm going to paint the inside of the desk yet. Maybe I'll paint everything else and see how much paint I have left of which color, and then we can decide what color we're going to paint under the desk by where my legs are going to be. Because like, you'll see it, but you won't see it, so it like doesn't matter that much. I don't know. Maybe I'll post a short about it and ask you guys. But okay, today's Friday. I have to go back to Nashville on Sunday because we have to get all of this installed before our video comes out on Monday. If y'all are seeing this on Monday, hopefully that means that all of this is installed, that all of it went well. But before we can travel with everything, we need to get 2 layers of paint on our desk. So we've got a lot to do and a little bit of time to do it in. So let's get to painting our desk. We just got back to the house. We've been unloading all of the stuff and we are about to hang the oopsie cabinets. We think we're gonna hang them over there and over there. And that means I gotta move some yarn. Oh God, please fit. Oh no, is it too long?
It's a little too long. Okay. 5 years in here.
Did we make a perfect fit?
That's what these tests are for.
All their fails, and it fits. It fits hilarious. How does it fit this well?
Hot glue.
Hot glue is exactly how it fits as well.
Hot glue. Simple.
Oh my god. And now our pizza's arriving. Perfect time. Oh my god, 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 oh my god. What do you think of our countertops, Tilly? This is the desk time. Oh my gosh. Just have to figure out how to install the desk with all this stuff over right here. Okay, I know it's gonna look huge once we get the tabletop on, but it's honestly not as big as I thought it was going to be. Because like all this stuff is gonna go. Like the books are going to be on the bookshelves that we're going to build. All of this stuff are like boxes that I still have to keep organizing and putting in the actual storage spots in the craft room. Y'all, I'm gonna have enough space. This is so exciting. There they come.
Where are the mover, Holly?
Why, what happened?
Got scratched.
Oh no. Is it right there? Okay, it's kind of huge, but I love it. Josh, we can sew together.
I know.
This is so exciting. What do you think of your box? Ooh, is that gonna be nice under the desk? Is that gonna be so nice? Oh, do I have the flash on? Hold on. There we go. There's nice and cozy. So, Tilly, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a cushion in here for you. Again, it's gonna be all cozy. I just threw one of my works in progress in here right now, but we're actually gonna be using my like shaggy green rug I don't use anymore and cutting it and covering each part of this. So this will be a footrest. And if you remember from earlier in the video, it's also a box. I don't want to scare Tilly though by opening it. And this side's also a footrest and a box. Well, Tilly, that's just perfect. Do you see her down here? Y'all are not ready for this. You're not ready for it. I was not ready for it. Are you ready for it? For the first time with both of the tabletops, welcome to the craft room. I have been waiting for months, actually not even months, literally years, for this moment right here. The moment where I can finally sit in my dream library craft room. Y'all, literally every day over the last few years, ever since I got it in my mind that this little loft area would make a great craft room, I would walk up here and I would look at the boxes and boxes and boxes and piles and just literally look at all of the junk and just daydream about this exact moment. And I knew it was going to be a daunting task. I had no idea how much work it was actually going to be. I had no idea how much I was going to learn, and I had no idea how much fun it was going to be to go on this journey of creating my dream library craft room. And it's not even done yet. It is not even anywhere close to being done. I feel like the craft part of my library craft room is almost complete. I feel like really with getting our big workspace done, with getting our cabinets built and the yarn wall, we're really starting to come to a close on the craft part of the library craft room. But now we have to start working on the library part of the library craft room. I am so excited, y'all. This trip, we actually did end up finding our wood. We got beautiful curly maple wood that we're going to use for floor to ceiling floating bookshelves. We got gorgeous live edge walnut that we are going to be using over here above the closet area, and maybe a few little shelves above the mirror here to use as like trinket shelves. But the main part of the library craft room that I'm so excited about was an idea my dad had a few weeks ago, is to basically turn these closet doors into a hidden door bookcase. Isn't there a word for this? A hidden bookcase door, a secret passage door. What do you call it though when it's like just a closet? Because it's not really like a hidden room or like a secret door. It could be a secret door, right? Anyways, you get the idea, right? Basically, inlaid into this wall here, it is going to look like bookshelves, but it's actually going to be closet doors, and I am so excited to go on that journey. But I do have to say, building all of this, it has brought me away from home for a long period of time. Even just building these countertops, I know y'all just saw this over the course of probably the last, how long was this video? Was this video an hour? I feel like this video is going to be really long. But what y'all saw in an hour, we did in 12 to 13 days. Now we thought that these countertops were going to take us like 3 days. We thought, okay, we're going to build them and prime them in the first day. We're going to pour the resin the second day, and then we're going to do the top coat on the third day. Y'all, we had no idea what we were getting into with these countertops. This was such a journey. So all that being said, I have been away from home a lot over the last few months. And as much fun as I've been having building all of this, I've missed Tilly a lot. I've missed Josh a lot. And I've missed making some of like our regular content. So I think for the next month, I am going to be just staying at home, and I'm going to be filming some of our first ever videos here in our dream craft room. Now that we actually have this big workspace, I am just dying to dive in and make all kinds of fun crafts with y'all. And also over the next month, there is still so much work to be done, y'all. There is so much organizing to be done. I need to be going through so much more craft stuff, really figuring out a good system, a good system for how I'm going to organize everything and use everything. So I'm thinking I'm going to do probably a big organizing series on shorts, because I've already started organizing, but y'all, there is still so much to go through, so much to do, so much to plan, and I'm not an organized person. There is a reason that this loft ended up being a storage room, a chaos storage room, mind you. This was not like organized storage. This was just boxes and piles of stuff for the last decade. I'm not an organized person, so if you are an organized person, please be loud in the comments and give me all of your organizing advice. I need systems. I need to figure out how I'm going to set everything up. I can do this. We can do this. We can do this together. With your help, I have no doubt that I can become an organized crafter. An organized, chaotic crafter, but still an organized crafter. So over the next few weeks, we are probably going to be diving back into semi-regularly scheduled content. I have a couple tutorials I want to do. Ooh, my advent calendar for the Woobles. The Woobles advent calendar finally came in the mail. It's like Santa's workshop. I'm so excited. I'm going to be doing a full review of the Woobles advent calendar, and this will actually be my first ever time trying the Woobles. So it'll also kind of just be a general Woobles review, but a lot of y'all have been asking me, is it worth it to buy the advent calendar? And the truth is, I don't know, so I bought it so I can let you know if I think it's worth it or not. And then I'd have to assume probably closer to November, maybe even mid-November, we'll be back at my dad's workshop and we will be building the shelves, and we will be starting to build out the library part of our dream library craft room. And in the meantime, I guess all of my books are just going to live here against the edge of the balcony. Well, friends, I hope that you had as much fun as I did in this video, and hopefully you were a little bit less stressed than I was in this video, because y'all, this was not our easiest DIY. Having said that, even with all of the little errors and little bumps in the road, I would still recommend Stone Coat. It was pretty easy to do. It was pretty decently beginner friendly. Just make sure you follow all of the instructions, and definitely don't make our mistake of sanding and waiting 15 hours before doing the top coat. Anyways, y'all, if you're new here, welcome to the Sunflower family. My name is Hollyana, and we do new videos every single Monday. We do crocheting and crafting and DIYs and Renaissance festivals and cat videos. And for the last few months, and probably the next few months, we have been building my dream library craft room. Hope to see you in the next one.